it's Aaliyah from the Song of the Winds. I hope you're doing really well. It's time for episode 8 of Monthly Mystery Deck. I'm always very excited, but I'm excited about this one. It just feels like it's going to be a really good deck. So let's crack in. If this is the first time that you have watched this particular series, what it is my husband surprises me with a tarot or oracle deck once a month, and I unbox it here on my channel, and I don't know what it is. I've got no idea. Sometimes he gets me the perfect one, and sometimes it's just so far off base it's not funny. So let's see. I've been wanting this one. It's the Spirit Song Tarot. I'm really excited. It's so beautiful. It's the Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. And there's a deck and a book in here. It's published by US Games. I was actually just looking at pictures of this today. Yeah, it was today. And I was thinking how beautiful this deck is. Oh, and the box is just gorgeous. Look at that. And it's all animal themed from what I can tell. Nice box. And it's got the side finger grips. Just that little detail is actually quite handy. The book is lovely. And there's some spreads at the back. It's about 105 pages. And it has the basic information about each card. And I can see from looking at this too that they have changed the names of the suits. Ooh, let's have a look. Oh, and it's shrink wrapped. It always is with the mass-produced decks. It must be part of the printing process, but it really drives me insane. You know, you think about the microplastic we have in the environment. Does this really add anything? No? Okay. The card backs are really interesting. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, sorry. They're really pretty. And yeah, it's reversible, so you really couldn't tell from the card back if it was upright or reversed. Okay. Oh yeah, and they've changed the name of some of the cards too. So the Fool became the Traveller. Lovely. Oh, the Magician, beautiful crow. I love it. It's so soft. High Priestess. And it's got the little keywords down there on the side as well. Down there underneath the name of each card. So that would be really handy. At least it's in the majors. Let's see. Yeah, it's in the minors too. Alright. The Empress is lovely. I'm kind of two minds when they do this. Like sometimes I think it may not be beneficial because it's, you know, there's so many different ways to read a tarot card. There's so many different meanings. Do you really want to limit yourself by just having 2 little keywords? But if you're just learning, or if you just have like a mind blank or something for some reason in a reading, that could be quite handy. It's such a delicate deck. It's really, really nice. Oh, there's a koala on the Hermit. Sorry, next one. I just got a sneak peek. Koala. So I've always been really fascinated by the use of animals in tarot. Just the way that you can link in further meaning into the cards by thinking about what that particular animal represents, what their habitat's like, what their life cycle's like. Yeah, like cicada with transformation, which is their nice way of saying death. Yeah. So I guess it's a soft deck in the sense that it looks as if, yeah, all the big sort of, you know, 3 at least have had their name changed, except for the Tower. Chameleon for the Tower. I must be missing something. I can't, off the top of my head, really vibe off a chameleon for that. Oh, the moon's an owl. Yes, that's good. So I know that I'm quite inconsistent with giving like a rating out of 10 for a deck that I receive for a monthly mystery deck. Sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. But I'm going to give this an 8 because it was actually a deck that I wanted to get. I was honestly just looking at pictures of it this morning. Oh, the world's a whale. Aww. Okay, so just to interrupt for a second. So the suits have been renamed to acorns, shells, feathers, and crystals. Okay, so I'd say acorns are wands, shells are cups. What was it again? Feathers would be swords and crystals would be pencils. Okay, so that's relatively straightforward. You can figure that out without too much trouble. Yeah, so I would give it an 8 because it was on my list. I was just looking at it. It is just such a pretty deck, and I really like that delicate sort of muted coloured hand illustrations. Oh, look at this sassy walrus. He is so chill. That's a 4 of wands. Pretty content. Oh yeah, a cheetah with the 5 of wands. Acorns, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not a massive fan of changing the name of the cards. I like having death, and I like having the devil, and I like having the tower. But it's not my deck, is it? So they can do what they want. If you wanted to, like, maybe you could trim the sides. I'd be really interested to know if anyone had actually trimmed their deck. Because you have got a nice neat border around the cards, but then there's like a filigree pattern down the bottom that you need to have a pretty good paper guillotine set up so that your cards were all the same length. It's so pretty. I think this has been out for a while. Oh no, it's only last year, apparently. It's only 2017. There's a distracting copyright symbol on the back. I really love the colour palette. I was actually really in the mood for a new deck. Like, I was kind of thinking, you know, it'd be nice to get an oracle deck, but at the same time I was really in the mood for a tarot deck. Have you used this deck? Is it one that you've got in your collection and you really enjoy using, or is it a deck that you don't particularly use? Have you fallen in love with it? Let me know below. You know, the more I look at it, it's kind of like, I like being really challenged by a deck, but at the same time, sometimes you don't want that, or sometimes your client doesn't want that, or they really don't need that at that point in time. Although, I mean, this is meant to be the 3 of Swords. Like, I don't know, I kind of feel as if, like, it's good to soften things to a certain extent. Yeah, so going back to the 3 of Swords, or the 3 of Feathers, like they have that there. In some ways, I think it really kind of discredits or downplays the absolute gut-wrenching heartbreak of those cards. Like, buddy, sit down. I feel like they've got that symbolism for a reason, because if you've gone through a 3 of Swords situation, your heart does feel like it has been pulled up out of your throat, like it's been ripped from your body. And I don't know if, like, if softening that for people, it kind of it kind of downplays how difficult it has actually been for them, you know. What do you think about, you know, the big cards, the big troubling cards being diluted, you know, just made a little bit too nice? Like, what do you think about that? Two of crystals. Kangaroo. That's an odd choice of animal, really. If that relates to the Two of Pentacles. I mean, you've got 78 cards. At some point, do you start to just pick an animal because you like it? Or does it all have some sort of correlation to the energy of that card? I don't know. I sometimes wonder if I come across as bitchy in these things. I absolutely don't mean to. I'm really interested in, you know, getting inside the mind of the creator so I can just further understand it. I'm one of those people that's never been able to, you know, monkey learn something. Like in any job, I've probably been very frustrating actually. It's like, you have to do it this way. I'm like, but why? Like, not to try and be difficult just for the sake of it, but it's like, if that's a process we have to follow, what is the benefit and what is the adverse effect if I don't actually do it? So I've always just called it monkey learning. I can't monkey learn. Blah. I'm not a spider person. I appreciate their importance and their need in the natural world, but looking at a golden orb spider like that, and it's summer in Australia right now and it's February, so it's like the worst part of summer. It's just when there's like heat wave after heat wave after heat wave, and it's just almost constant humidity until finally it storms, and then it just gets worse again the next day. Anyway, so there's golden orbs bloody everywhere, and I live on a bush block, like we're on almost an acre, so you know it's very wooded, and the bloody golden orbs are everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't hurt them, but just even looking at them gives me the heebie-jeebies. They're the only spider that I actually actively have like an involuntary reaction to. Oh, you hedgehog. And the King of Crystals, that's beautiful. That works really well, don't you think? That works really well as like an animal correspondence to the Queen of Pentacles. And finally with the King of Crystals. So I really enjoyed this deck. Like, I would say that it's definitely an 8 out of 10 for me. And just because I question, you know, aspects about it doesn't mean that I won't enjoy it, and definitely doesn't mean that I won't use it and, you know, continue to get further insights. But I think it's important just to be really sort of stream of consciousness when it comes to going through the deck the first time and chatting you through. Like with a lot of other unboxings and deck walkthroughs and flip throughs and things that I do on my channel, I tend to just show like the odd card, but I really think with the monthly mystery deck, it's nice to go through and just sort of see them in its entirety. It's got a really sweet sort of feminine energy about it. I mean, you know, it's hard not to get that with the muted colours and the pinks and the greens and, you know, the matte finish box. It actually is really lovely, so easily an 8 out of 10 deck, so my husband has done well. I just don't understand dumbing down like the Three of Swords to the point where it's unrecognizable, that it's like, it's so nice that it's almost like a Knight of Pentacles or something. It's like, what? But it's not that. So anyway, that's just my one little thing. Having not actually read the guidebook, I mean, maybe the author does actually talk through the reasons for that, so I am just sort of shooting my mouth off without really having research. But that's sort of why you watch this, right? Because it is just my initial impressions. Please feel free to check out this deck. Being produced by US Games, you can pick it up at pretty much any tarot retailer, I would say. But until next time, I wish you just the most lovely day, week, month, whatever it ends up being until we speak again. You take care, and I'll see you again real soon. Okay.